It has been 336 days since I've seen my daughter. I'd like to ask for prayers from those of you who are allies and advocates. Those of you who are not allies, you can just go away. You don't even have to watch this video. Just go bye. Bye-bye. Get behind me, demon. All demon and dark energy, get behind me, because I am covered in the blood of Jesus Christ. He protects me. Okay, now that I have a protective shield around me, it's an interesting time of year for me, because I don't know what is to come. I will say what all of this has done has brought me closer to God. And my goodness, there's just no way I could get through this without God. There's just no way without reading passages, without the Bible study groups, without the choir groups I'm a part of, like just being very proactive about my spiritual journey and deepening my one-on-one personal relationship with God. I could not get through this. There's just no way. It's so cruel what I'm being put through. So very cruel. So very, very nasty and gross and dark and icky. But it's not going to break me. It's not. Because I grew up in cruelty. Oh, that's not funny. But I did. I didn't grow up in the most ideal family structure. I grew up in a family that was not nice. And as an adult, when I was away in college and I got my space and time, I think by my senior year in college, after like being on my own and going to school and working and making friends and even just like having honest conversations with my college boyfriend at the time, I was like, wow, I came from a cruel family. My family isn't nice. They're not nice people. They're mean. My family is mean. And they're cliquish. And they're just not nice people. And unfortunately, I was on the receiving end of that growing up. I wasn't on the inside clique. I wasn't accepted. I was on the outside. And so I experienced ongoing bullying and just meanness, not just from like my cousins, but also from my aunts and uncles, which is like insane, to be quite frank. A child experiencing mean treatment by adults. And it continued even after I went away to college, and I respectfully accepted that they just did not like me as a person. While it's not what I chose, and that's not the type of family life I would like, I would like to be in a loving, inclusive home, or from an inclusive family. It just wasn't that way. And so for me, it was like I was accepting of it, and I let myself go through the process of healing and continue moving on in my life. But what it did for me, and then actually take a step back, even in school, I was bullied. So I was the only black girl in my class. I was in a school, predominantly white school, and in my class, I was the only black girl. And, I didn't have friends. I mean, I literally, my one friend who, yes, was a Caucasian woman, she was not black because I was the only black girl. She told me at the beginning of one school year, she said, I'm not going to be friends with you anymore because you're black. My mom doesn't want me to be friends with a black girl. And so I went through an entire school year. I was completely isolated. I didn't have anyone to talk to or play with because I was black, which is, it's really ridiculous, And so growing up, I've experienced a lot of isolation and meanness, not because I was mean to them or I did something to them. It was just cruelty. As an adult, it's given me a strong sense of self And I don't mind being by myself. I can be independent. I can be solo. It's okay. I rather enjoy my own company and have peace and have harmony than be around people that are going to be mean and cruel and try to break my spirit. The irony of all this is that I ended up dating a man for 3 years that took those things about me and tried to use them against me. Yikes. Really got to know me and would use that against me. You don't have anyone. You've never had anyone. No one's there for you, but I'll be there for you. I'll make sure that my family's there for you. That's our culture. We're Ethiopian. That's our culture. You don't have to worry about it. And unfortunately, among many other aspects of the abusive aspect of the relationship, the physical abuse, the psychological abuse, the financial abuse, unfortunately, I got to the point where I thought, I don't have anyone else. I don't have a choice. Like, I'm stuck here because there's no one else to help me. There's no one else that will protect me or have my back if I get sick. Because at the time I was dealing with a chronic illness, and the doctors could not figure out what it was. I was going to so many specialists. So I was in this very vulnerable state because I was told at one point that it looked like I had early markers for lupus. And so that was very humbling and hard to live with, that potential diagnosis. And so then I have this person who's telling me, oh, well, you've never had anyone, no one's ever been there for you, da 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 da. Unfortunately, I shared it, but not in a way of like, oh, woe is me. It's just more like, oh, get to know me. This is my personality. These are my lived experiences. And we were sharing stories, me more than him. And then lo and behold, he took those stories and used them against me. And so at one point I just thought, okay, I need him. I can't move on. And even after I left him and I had a restraining order against him, there would be moments where things were hard on my own. And the immediate thought was, I need him. Like, he had programmed me to think that, yep, I don't have anybody. He's the one. He's the only one that'll ever be there. And so it took me a while to pull myself out of that mindset. The irony behind all of it was when I did finally have the courage to leave the abusive environment that I was in, because it was getting quite crazy and psychotic and quite frightening. And I was like, this is only going to get worse. This is crazy. I won't get into it. The irony was when I left and I started asking for help from professionals, I didn't bother my family. And then eventually I reluctantly told my mom what was going on. And then eventually everyone, my family knew what was going on with me, that I'm a domestic violence safe house. And regardless, they forced my mom out of her house of 40 years. And she's like on Social Security. She has nowhere to live. They all have houses, cars, partners, children, and while I'm at my lowest, my mom gets kicked out of the one stable thing she had was housing. And then nobody's helping us. So it was so ironic. I'm going to nonprofits. They're not helping. I'm going to the family court. They're abusers themselves. The judges and the lawyers, they're quite toxic, what I was dealing with. And then on top of that, I don't have any help from my family, which was expected. I never expected that. Even like recently with the stuff that's been going on, I had one cousin step up, and then at one point he was just like, figure it out on your own. Oh my gosh.